During my last video, I couldn't help but notice that one of my headlights was not working properly. So I figured today I'll show you guys on a quick video how to replace your headlights so that way you guys always have visibility at night. Starting this project shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes depending on the amount of bulbs that you have. But as you can tell, you only have a couple of screws on the sides and a couple of screws on top for a total of 4 screws. Each of these screws has different sizes, so you should be able to know where each one goes. We're gonna start by removing the screws on the sides. And now we can go ahead and remove the screws on the top. These are shorter screws than the one on the sides, so you should be able to tell where each pair of screws goes without any confusion or problems. Do not use a drill for this, as this is matte metal and it could break easily. Now let's get on with the removal process. Do remember to remove the bottom screw first and remove the right screw on top and the bottom screw on the left. Do not remove the calibrating screws, as you will then have to recalibrate the headlight. Finally, once you remove the screws, you are able to remove the main trim that's holding the headlight. Be careful when removing this trim, because if you remove it too quick, the headlight will fall off as it is not holding on to anything else, and you might scratch your car, or worse, you may damage your headlight. So you don't want to do that. Be careful while removing it. Do not grab too hard on the cables or the outlet, as this is an old car and things might break or dissolve as you touch. Now that we have the headlight out, there are just a few things that I want to point out. One, that this has a 2-prong system, which means that this is the high beam. The one next to it will have 3 prongs, meaning it's just your regular headlight. Just on the side, I wanted to show you guys the screws that you guys are going to be using. You have 2 screws that go on the side, 2 screws that go on top, and 3 screws that hold the trim for the headlight together. That's it. So once we've removed everything, all the screws, the cover, and the bulb, I wanted to show you guys that this is a Wagner 12.8 volts 5001. This pretty much means that this light is a high beam and a low beam. But another thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that I bought 2 of the Xtravision 5001, just like my old bulb. This is a 5001. So I bought 2 more, and the reason for that is because they're not gonna go into the same exact headlight system or compartment, but they're gonna go into separate ones on the same position. And I think that's because these ones are brighter, and these ones are Silvana, and these ones are Wagner's. So I think these ones are a little bit brighter and newer. So I think I want to match those 2 instead of having 3 different colors. That's the reason why. There's no other reason behind it. One thing that I love about this Corvette is the simple fact that this car is 45 years old, and you could still calibrate your headlights from side to side and up and down to make sure that each one of them was aiming at the exact same position. So you had a screw here on the side, and you had a screw up, and then you had a whole bunch of little springs on the side, on the bottom, to make sure that those things kind of gave pressure to the movement, and then you can kind of tweak it as you wanted to. And you could do the same with the other lights, which I think is fantastic and crazy that, you know, a car that's 45 years old was able to do that. As you guys can see, here's one of the springs, and so every time you would release of this giant screw over here and it would start going down, this spring will start pulling back and back, making the headlight go down, which I think it's really, really cool. One thing that I want to do before I finish installing is I want to go ahead and test out the headlight, because if the new headlight doesn't work, then we might have a wiring problem. All right, so that's fully plugged in. Let's just kind of leave it there, just kind of hanging. I want to break it, so okay. All right, let's test that out. All right, so the headlight does work, so that means that the wiring is fine, so which means that we can continue with our installation. On a side note, I wanted to show you guys that each headlight has these little indentations here. This is to make sure that it fits into the headlight casing, so that way there's no mistake. So every time you put it, the Silvana logo or the Wagner logo will show straight and not sideways or anything. So there's only one position that the headlight can go. And for those of you guys who are wondering, yes, I could totally clean this, but you know what? I'm just not interested in doing that right now. All right, let's put the casing. Let's add the screws back. This is just such a simple job. It doesn't take a long time. But if you're currently owning a Corvette, then it's just maintenance for the car. And remember, we do have 3 screws, so there's one right here in the bottom as well. Okay, now very carefully, don't scratch this part. If you need to put tape in here, please do. But now you're just gonna go ahead and gently, you're gonna put it in there like so. Don't over tighten the screws on the sides because this is not metal. This is some kind of hard plastic, but that means that it can also break. So just don't be too aggressive with it. All right, seems like we're all done. Let's go ahead and test it on one more time. And there is light. As we come to an ending, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you guys have any questions regarding this install, please do let me know down in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.